You're listening to The Business of Becoming, a podcast for the woman building a business and becoming the leader of her own life. Hosted by business mentor, brand mirror, and soul-led strategist Lynn Stevens. This show is your space to reclaim your voice, clarify your vision, and lead with resonance instead of rules. Because you're not here to follow a playbook. You're here to build from truth. This isn't about starting over. This is about starting true. Let's begin. Hi, love, and welcome to the very first episode of The Business of Becoming. I'm Lynn Stevens, business mentor, brand mirror, and soul-led strategist. But more than that, I'm a woman who remembers what it feels like to hold a big vision and still feel completely stuck in the how. If you're listening to this, I already know something about you. You're not just here to start a business. You're here to build something that's yours, something rooted in truth, something that actually feels like home, not another performance, not another plan that isn't yours, not another version of success that doesn't fit your life. But maybe you're wondering if it's too late. Maybe you've been carrying this dream for a long time without quite knowing where to begin. Maybe you've tried before and burned out. Or maybe you're on chapter 2, or 5, or 14 of your journey, but this time something feels different. This time you want to do it your way. If that's you, you are exactly where you're meant to be. Let me take you back to where this all started for me. I didn't have a roadmap. There was no grand vision board moment, no launch strategy, no six-figure plan. There was just me, no longer the caretaker, no longer needed in the same ways, standing in the stillness between loss and reinvention, trying to piece together something that made sense. I was an empty nester. My 2 sons, the boys I had poured so much of my heart and energy into, were now grown men out in the world making their own way. They didn't need me in the same ways anymore. And while I was proud, so deeply proud, there was also this quiet ache. The space where motherhood had once been so full, now filled with silence and possibility. And just as I was adjusting to that shift, I had to say goodbye to another role, the most sacred one I'd ever held, being my mother's caregiver. Losing her was its own kind of unraveling, because caregiving isn't just about tasks, it's about identity. It's about purpose. It's about the way we tether ourselves to the people we love. And when that role ended, I found myself standing in a space I didn't recognizing, not quite who I'd been, not yet who I was becoming. And that's when the question arrived, quiet but persistent. Who do I want to be now? Not just, what should I do? Not just, how do I make this work? But truly, who am I becoming? Because when so many of the roles you've carried fall away, mother, daughter, caregiver, you're left with something else, the mirror. And what I saw in that mirror wasn't a lack. It was readiness, a readiness to create from experience, to lead from softness, to finally build something that didn't ask me to perform. No more shrinking, no more trying to prove myself in rooms that weren't built for women like me. It wasn't about building faster or louder. It was about building truer. And I decided if I was going to create a business, it had to come from that place of truth, that place of inner knowing, that place of becoming. I had heart. I had wisdom. I had lived experience. But I also had a million browser tabs open with advice that left me more confused than clear. I signed up for all the things, the freebies, the $97 workshops, the copy-paste blueprints. And don't get me wrong, I was trying. I was doing the most, checking all the boxes, showing up but not really showing me, because deep down, it never felt like it was actually mine. I was building a business out of other people's voices and losing my own in the process. And I think that happens to a lot of women, especially women who've spent years holding space for everyone else. We get used to blending in. We learn how to fit into rooms. We know how to make things work even when they don't feel good. So when it's time to create something just for ourselves, we don't always know how. What I really needed wasn't more content. It wasn't another marketing strategy. It wasn't another list of things to do. What I really needed was someone to say, "You don't have to do this alone. You already know, you just forgot how to trust yourself." That moment didn't come as fireworks. It didn't come wrapped in certainty. It came like a whisper, soft, but unshakable. I remember watching other women take action, messy, imperfect, real action, and something clicked. They weren't waiting to feel ready. They weren't waiting for the perfect funnel, or the right certification, or the polished brand. They were just moving. From clarity, from courage, from self-trust, even when they still had doubts. And I realized I was the one stalling my own becoming. I was the one clinging to perfection because I didn't feel like enough. I was waiting for permission that was never going to come from someone else. So I let go, not all at once, not with a dramatic reinvention, but one decision at a time. I let go of waiting. I let go of the noise. I let go of the idea that I had to earn my voice. And when I started moving from my truth, everything began to shift. That didn't mean I suddenly had a full client roster or a polished brand, but it meant I began showing up fully, honestly, imperfectly. I started creating offers that felt like me. I began writing in my own voice again. I posted before I felt ready. I sold before it felt perfect. I spoke even when my voice trembled. And slowly, I became the woman who no longer needed to be perfect to be powerful, who no longer needed external proof to claim her own worth, who no longer needed to chase someone else's path. That was the real transformation, and that's what this podcast is here to hold space for. This isn't just a podcast about business. It's about becoming. It's about giving voice to the parts of you that have been waiting patiently for permission to lead. It's about peeling back the layers, honoring your lived experience, and building a business that reflects who you really are now, not who you used to be, because becoming isn't about doing more. It's about becoming more you. In this space, you'll find soulful strategy, the kind that honors your values, not just your metrics. Intuitive insight, so you can feel your way forward. Grounded business guidance, because clarity builds confidence. Some weeks I'll share short, potent solo episodes, like this one. Other weeks I'll be joined by women who are walking their own reclamation path. Women who've chosen to build businesses that match their lives, not the other way around. But every week, we'll return to this truth. You're not behind, you're becoming. And your voice, it's not too late. It's right on time. You're not here to prove. You're here to express, to create, to claim, to rise. So let me ask you, where are you holding back right now? Where are you waiting for permission that you could actually give yourself today? What would shift if you let go of needing to be ready and just let yourself begin? You don't have to have it all figured out. You don't have to do it perfectly. You just have to start true. And to support you in that next step, I created something just for you. It's called the Start True Aligned Business Clarity Map, a free guide to help you get clear on what you truly want from your business and who you're becoming as you build it. You can find the link in the show notes. Start where you are. Start soft. Start honest. But most of all, start true. Before we go, I want to remind you, wherever you are on your path, whether you're starting for the first time, reinventing what already exists, or finding your way back to yourself, you're not doing it wrong. You're doing it your way, and that is sacred. And if this first episode spoke to you, it would mean so much if you would follow or subscribe to the show, leave a quick review. Those stars and words go a long way, and share this episode with a woman in her own becoming season. Thank you for listening. I'll see you next week. Thank you for joining us on The Business of Becoming. If this episode spoke to you, share it with a woman who's ready to stop performing and start building something real. Be sure to follow the show, leave a quick review, and keep becoming the woman you were always meant to be. And if you're ready to take the next step, download your free Start True Aligned Business Clarity Map. It's your guide to beginning your business from a place of truth. You'll find the link in the show notes.